I don't want to spend too much time on this subject, so I'll just jump straight into it. So for people who don't know, there's this group of men on social media who are being pushed by that system to pawn off the appearance to the masses of people that this is how you act if you're a strong and well put together man. The reason why they can put this group out there is because there's been a consistent attack on masculinity for some years now. The attack on masculinity is the same attack that's on the organic feminine, but also the attack on the people around the world. It's designed to promote broken people, to put off this artificial version of strength. This is done in your politics. This is done in your music industry. This is done in your Hollywood industry. And now it's being done on social media. The system needs people, celebrities, carrots for the masses of people to follow. And like a good marketing team, you have to be aware of your demographic, your largest viewer base. Right now, you have a lot of broken, young, frustrated, insecure, codependent man children who sit in the house all day playing video games and chatting with each other on their smartphones. There's no sense of organic masculinity out there. So they have to promote this artificial sense of masculinity to get money on the clicks. No different than women doing this. These broken households producing broken men and broken women have been existing for some time now. And these children who came from broken families are now grown into broken man children, broken women. And the precursor to this movement was, like I said in previous videos, this push of the artificial masculine with the Republican Party, with Trump out there acting as if he's a strong man. He's a strong leader. No, these are all actors. They're performers. And like children who believe in cartoons, broken adults believe in the mainstream media or whatever comes on social media. There's a balance between the masculine and the feminine. And this new version of masculinity being pushed by social media has nothing to do with that. They are completely unaware of that. Their definition of masculinity is based upon reacting to a broken system. Your masculinity should not be in reaction to anything. Your masculinity does not need to be defined by the cars that you have, by the clothes that you wear, by the money that you have. The very fact that these individuals are pushing those perspectives is already a red flag. The very fact that they're talking about how they interact with women, broken women, instead of working with women to help heal those situations, the very fact that they're pushing that as a sense of something to be proud of is a giant red flag and is a sign of weakness. It is weak-ass men who prey upon weak women. A strong man will challenge himself and have a responsibility to step and be around and protect a strong woman. These weak-minded, broken men who are proud of having so many women and the cars and the money and all this other stuff, that is a man-child perspective. That's what the Manosphere is. It should be the man-childosphere. They have zero connection with their past, zero connection with their present, as far as compatibility with the feminine and what's really going on outside of the system they're trying to be recognized by. And they have zero connection with the future or the 7 generations that they're supposed to be protecting right now in this moment. So the same way Trump was put out there to look like a god in comparison to these zombified dead-ass politicians that are out there, these artificial men are looking like supermen in front of these broken-ass man children who are promoted on a regular basis. Your podcasts have these dead, slow, completely weighed down and just commercial-brained, these empty-ass people being pushed into your mind, into your children, setting the bar so low so when they want to promote a system at a certain time frame, it won't take much to put this artificial version, this artificial definition of masculinity up and have people follow it. It's exactly what's been happening. They set the bar so low, they beat the shit out of men for so long on purpose that when they want to sell something else, sell belts and suits instead of purses and shoes, like I said, this is all a marketing ploy. When they're ready to make that turn, they'll make that move. And they have. And they do this, they add to the attention of these mind controls by doing things like taking people down, deplatforming people. They do things on purpose. They take people down. They build people up to take people down at certain times to control the narrative. And when they put these people on blast and give them now, taking this Andrew Tate dude down, gave him another platform. Now he has to respond. It might seem like they're deplatforming somebody, but deplatforming is a form of platforming somebody. He might have been deplatformed on one end, but look at what kind of platform he's on now. Like I said, I didn't even know who the fuck this dude was until very recently. So apparently he's been around for some time. The way he's talking, all this stuff, a lot of people know about. I don't know who the fuck he is. There's no need for me to know about these weak ass people. But when you have weak ass people out there, somebody slightly less weak than them is going to look like a fucking god. And that's what you're dealing with right now with these Manosphere people out there. Social media has amplified and sped up the process of character building so quickly that the old ways of people buying into actors and even politicians, where you're celebrities, looking up to and wanting to emulate them, that shit's dead now. It takes too fucking long. Nobody cares about what Bruce Willis or The Rock and all these other people out there. They don't care. They move too slow. They're too dumb. They're not up to speed. They're too slow. The new version of mind controlling people is coming through social media and these influencers. And like I said, in order to control the masses, all they have to do is control these individual people. So look at all the million of people who are following this Andrew Tate and this Manosphere. He's the biggest, strongest man out there. They put him up, they build him up into the millions. He's strong. He's a kickboxer. He can fight. He's got all the cars. He's got all the money. He's got all the girls. And boom, they take him down, deplatform. Where's your power now? Where's your masculinity now, bitch? How much of a man are you now, huh? You can't even speak to you can't make any videos. You can't do shit. When they cut somebody like that down, they're cutting down the masses of people that were following those individuals, taking the wind right out of their sails with one person being deplatformed. It's like in these movies. I can't remember exactly what movie it was, but they said if you kill the leader, the rest of them won't fight. And when you have weak people, that's exactly what will happen. They build up the leader, making him think that he's king shit. He's indestructible. And as soon as he hits that peak and is ready to go, take him down. Take him down, put him on the big screen, and see where he goes then. And just like the majority of other people, when they get on that platform, what do? They expose how weak they really are. So this Andrew Tate dude gets on Fox News and starts bitching and complaining about how these social media platforms and all these other companies that are out there are feminists and are going against masculinity, and other groups in those circles, other individuals talking about how it's racist. This is a fucking known fact. Part of being a strong man and a strong woman is to have a sense of fucking intelligence and awareness. If you didn't know that these systems were already sexist and fucking racist, you're fucking lost. But they have nothing to push, nothing to promote. Their strength is nil. If it's anchored in that system, they don't have anything. This is why they won't put anybody else who's not anchored in that system. If your strength comes from the system that you're being attacked by, you don't have any strength. You have to have a strength that exists outside of the system. This is why they will not publicize or talk about people whose strength is anchored in a sense of self, in their ancestors, in the past, in the present, in the future, in their responsibility to the next 7 generations. Nobody's going to get on Fox News and say that shit. So when they get these individuals and put them on there and tell them, oh, this is what you're supposed to think like as a strong man, they're investing more and more of these young-minded man children into locking them into the system under the guise of pulling them away from that weak, broken system. What they're doing is they're putting a mediocre character next to a weak, broken-ass system filled with weak, broken-ass people and saying that this mediocre character is the example of how to be. They know nobody's listening to Fox News and the morals and values that's coming from that shit. So what they do is they play the okie doke. They'll say, okay, well, you need to be like this guy. We're not telling you should be like him because he's obviously a bad person. He's been taken down. But underneath, the undertone is that you really listen to him. You're really listening to what he's saying. He's making a lot of sense for one layer of consciousness, for one style of interaction within this reality. And that layer exists inside that layer of mind control, that world of weakness. So for those of you who don't know, this individual, they put him on Fox News. He gets on there talking about why he was taken down and starts complaining about companies showing favoritism to women. Obviously, this is a known fucking fact. The money is in women showing off their body. Of course they're going to show favoritism. That's like a conspiracy theorist complaining about the system promoting mainstream shit and censoring other work or other perspective. In the beginning, yeah, I can see you can anger because that happened to me. I understand that. But after a while, you start to realize this is the way the system works. That's how it's supposed to be. It's all about them. It's all about money. It's all about anything that involves the amplification of that system. These little Manosphere little children are just pawns in that bigger game. And since they're so self-involved and self-centered, they've only invested their perspectives of what's going on. They haven't seen what's going on a larger scale. It's all about the micro. These Manosphere people, all this shit, it's micro perspectives, ain't got shit to do with the macro. A real man has to be anchored in both the macro and the micro. You can't be in the macro unless you have centered yourself in the strength of the micro. What's happening is that these groups of people are putting out this artificial micro and pawning it off as if it's the micro and the macro. So they're not even amplifying the micro. They don't even know what a real man is, let alone will they be able to stand up for the perspectives dealing with what men should be dealing with in reference to the macro. These micro-focused ass men are out there pushing you in the system to keep you from anchoring yourself and amplifying the perspective that a real man should have in reference to the macro. So when you have artificial micro men out there, you basically have effeminized men. Men trying to be equal to the power that women get from the system and complaining about the system not holding them to an equal scale. That's not your shit. That's some weak shit. And that's exactly what this dude did when he went on Fox News. And what happens when your leader goes up there and cowers like a little bitch? Well, all these other ones are going to do the same thing. These men are reacting to a broken system. They're still in that world. They don't know what it means to not be broken. They're acting in reaction to. This is very similar to the amplifying of people like Russell Brand, who's put out there as this intelligent conspiracy theorist who is on the outside of the mainstream media and is moving forward in the right way because he's a recovering addict. So he has Jesus on his side. He has a 12-step program on his side. So people who are on the edge of conspiracy theory, leaving out of the progressive talk, are going to latch on to people like Russell Brand and think that he's the next Messiah. He's out there doing what we all should be doing. But he's out there pushing a limited perspective. He's pushing the manosphere perspective of what's going on in the macro and the micro. He's still pushing that broken perspective in a broken system to deal with the broken situation. When you break out of all that shit, you're not broken anymore. You're not limited to the broken system. And all of your energy and focus doesn't even need to be on that anymore. You know where to channel that energy. You know where the groups are. You know this group over here is still dealing with a lot of shit from the past. Help them categorize that, work with it, and put it on the shelf, put it in a space that's going to empower them. People dealing with shit from the present moment, they can't find a sense of self and knowing what to deal with on a regular basis in the moment. Figure out a way to balance between the masculine and the feminine. Work with the women, work with the man. Address the perspectives of the past, of the present, and anchor yourself in projecting that reality into the future for the next 7 generations. These men have no perspective on that shit. They're still dealing with broken shit, trying to hide the fact that they're still broken. Hiding their brokenness under all the cars and the money and their muscles from going to the gym and all the women. You can't hide that broken shit under more broken shit. It just amplifies how broken you are to the people who can see that broken shit. So the system wants these fake, strong men out there. They want that perspective out there because they know that their strength is anchored in their system. So all they have to do is adjust the system and these weak ass men will fall right along. They want these men to prey on broken women, to celebrate this slave system. All the money, all the cars, the job, all that, even the physical nature of work, all that stuff, it's an amplifying, it's a worshiping of this system, of the ego, a whole bunch of other broken shit too. There's no amount of cars, money, clothes, muscles, jewelry, women that's going to be able to fill the void that these broken ass men have in every aspect of their reality. They are amplifying. The takedown was to amplify the fact that this group of men exists. That's why he was taken down. These broken men have not even dealt with what they need to deal with to heal their micro perspectives, themselves, to balance themselves, to find the strength beyond the physical. In reference to their relationship with women, they're still holding on to these old ass systematic values instead of realizing, like we did with our ancestors, that there's a compatibility between the man and the woman. These manosphere man children are limited by the Western perspectives and limitations in this reality. Like what I shared in previous videos in reference to the relationship that a man has with a woman. It's different for different groups of people. We don't have to deal with the same shit that so-called white people have to deal with in reference to the man and the woman. So-called white men have been beating down and treating white women like shit forever. We don't have that history. We have a relationship of compatibility. I'm not saying it's perfect. It's been like that across the board. What I'm saying is that overall, generally, our ancestors had a relationship, a godly relationship with our woman. So-called white people don't have that. This is why in that relationship, it's always the man over the woman. These manosphere people are reacting to that Western belief system. They're not even anchored in compatibility. They're anchored in reacting to this broken ass Western perspective of relationships, Western perspective of a man, and a Western perspective of a woman. They have zero storylines connecting the man to the woman from a compatibility perspective. We have that. So we don't have to react or respond like they do. But by elevating these people out there, they're sucking more and more people in to that group of thought and creating more problems for people who normally wouldn't have those problems. They wouldn't be acting that way with women, with society, with themselves, unless it was promoted and projected into the reality through social media and the mainstream media. This is why those individuals are out there. It's creating problems with people for people who don't have those problems. So they're downloading these interactive styles and putting them out there, when they put them in action with their relationships, they create more problems. And then the men who are out there pushing those systems are saying, yeah, you're going to have to deal with it. This will happen. But when this happens, you just do this. Step-by-step program. Trying to help these broken men bumble their way through a broken system. The macro strength of a man is in his ability to make the most out of the compatibility with his woman and all women and the situation, to be compatible with your woman. That is the real strength. That is the real masculinity. The more masculine you are, the more feminine your woman should be. And not in the definition of, oh, what feminine should. No, the empowered feminine, the empowered masculine. You can't have a weak man with a powerful woman. It's not going to work. And the same goes vice versa. So they elevated these women out there artificially, artificial women power. And what's happening is that you have now men feeling a certain way about that, who are now artificially building themselves up as men next to these artificial women. And the system is pushing both of them out there and saying, here, this is what it's like to be a man. This is what it's like to be a woman. Anything other than this is whatever other category they created. The outside group, the uncool crowd. So these broken men are put out there to make the reality of all people how you react to a broken system instead of dealing with the cancer. Be strong and successful with the symptoms of this situation, but never address the cancer. So these Manosphere limited as man children are basically out there pumping chemotherapy, masculine chemotherapy, into the hearts and the minds of these broken ass man children, telling them, keep on this path. This is the right way. Meanwhile, they're killing every masculine cell in their body under the illusion of becoming stronger, of becoming more manly. No, you don't even know that you have cancer. They don't even know what the fuck the chemotherapy is doing for them. But since the system makes money off of chemotherapy and cancer, they will push all of these broken ass people out there. Reacting and being successful in a broken world is not a healthy measure of success or strength. Many of these men are still very broken and looking for the artificial world and broken women to fill the voids they have in their personal lives and upbringing across the board. They are so fucking broken that they need broken people to fill their voids. These men are finding broken women. Women do the same thing, having babies to fill their brokenness, to fill the voids, to seem more strong, to seem more like a man, to seem more like a woman. Reproduction is this artificial version of maintaining or amplifying your masculinity and femininity and growth overall. They do this same shit with cars, jobs, clothes, social media, artificial amplification of that which is supposed to be organic, filling the voids. These Manosphere individuals, they are void fillers in a world where people are completely hollowed out and empty. These broken men playing all these video games were raised by broken men who have voids and holes throughout their character, throughout their personality, throughout their relationships that they have with their parents, throughout the relationships that they have with their loved ones. So you got broken people birthing broken people who are now in the broken mainstream world of social media looking for somebody and an example of somebody who's not broken. And an easy example of somebody who's not broken artificially is this illusion of being strong and successful in this broken ass system. You will not fill any of these voids. You won't find anything in this system that will fill that which is hollowed out in your reality. But the system needs you to believe that that's true, that's going to be what you need to do to fix yourself. And these individuals are amplified to put that atmosphere out there, that example. You're supposed to be like them. And the system knows that if you try to be like them, you will just add complexity to your brokenness. Social media is turning these men into emotional creatures, seeking validation from ghosts. They are putting this artificial version of masculinity out there to effeminize the men overall. The more you buy into it, look at this. These men are pushing the cars, the money, the clothes, the jewelry, the relationships. Replace that with what women are doing on social media. The shoes, the clothes, the bodies, the makeup, the viewers, the attention. That's everything that these children, manosphere individuals are hoping to be. That's what they want. They want everything that successful women want in their world. In many different ways, this promoting of these children, weak-minded ass manosphere men designed to weaken the organic masculine nature of people around the world, the promoting of these weak ass men for a purpose is no different than the promoting of the LGBTQ community for a purpose. Creating chaos, creating weakness, creating confusion, getting people involved in their emotions, getting people involved in that nonsense in that system. And since you have such a younger demographic of people who are going to follow these men in these circles, since you have them, you're not going to have any accountability there. They're going to follow these men right off a cliff because they have no sense of self. They don't know where to start. They don't know where to go. They don't know who they are. And that's a perfect definition of a prey on a platter for a predator. Beat them down so much. Beat down the women so much. Beat down the man so much. Beat them all down so much that when you want to build them back up, you don't have to do much. And like I said, when they take these individuals down, they're gonna lose a lot of followers. That's one group of people taken out to weaken that movement. Because it's a weak movement. That's why they push it. The Manosphere is a weak movement to be pushed to fail. Sound familiar? They push these movements knowing they're going to fail. They push these people knowing they're going to fail. Because large groups of people are going to fall away from them and give up. And the ones that are going to still follow them are still locking themselves into a weak-minded, limited perspective. And they're not going to get anywhere close to the success that these individuals are getting in these groups. If you even want to see it as success, which is what they're selling it as. It's a marketing ploy. They make money off the people who fail. Because what happens when you fail? What happens when they fail? People need to fill that void again. So they're going to invest their money back into the system again. Oh, my favorite YouTuber is being taken down. Oh, I'm so depressed. I'm going to play more video games. I'm going to drink more alcohol. I'm going to do more drugs. I'm going to do more of that. Weak ass people. And the system making money hand over fist across the board. They know exactly what's going to happen. So, for people who are asking about my perspective on that, that's what it is.